Off with the latest of Dr. Besigye, the former leader of the Forum for Democratic Change, who was arrested in Nairobi, Kenya. This was over the weekend. He is expected to be produced in the General Court Martial at Besigye. It's not clear what charges the former presidential candidate will be charged with. Now, several members of the Katonga faction of FDC have camped near the court martial. We do have Sudhir Biaruhanga that is on ground to give us the latest in Besigye. Who is there? Has he been able to see Dr. Besigye? Well, good afternoon to you, Sudhil.
Hello, good morning once again. This is Ninja Lawar on Lightcast TV. And again, yesterday on the news, we saw Besigye, the opposition leader in Uganda, was charged before court-martial with plotting to attack military targets in Uganda and illegal possession of 2 pistols in Kenya, and he's locked up at Luzira prison until December the 2nd of 2024. The veteran opposition politician Dr. Besigye is appearing at the General Court Martial in Besigye, Kampala, days after he was reported missing in Nairobi, where he had traveled to attend a book launch of former Kenya's Justice Minister Martha Karua. He's appearing in the dock alongside his comrade Haj Lutale Kamulegeya on yet to be known on charges that I've already highlighted. The court proceedings had been adjourned for 15 minutes after Dr. Besigye said he has no lawyer, given that he wasn't able to contact anyone since he has been in detention. And also the wife requested the government of Uganda to release her husband, Besigye, from where he was being held immediately because he was kidnapped last Saturday while he was in Nairobi. And I quote verbatim what the wife said. Winnie Byanyima, the wife of Besigye, said, "He was kidnapped last Saturday while he was in Nairobi for Martha Karua's book launch. I am now reliably informed that he is in a military jail in Kampala. We, his family and his lawyers, demand to see him. He is not a soldier. Why is he being held in a military jail?" Don, what do you think?
Yeah, before we proceed, Martha Karua actually yesterday talked about the same incident, about since the Ugandan opposition leader Besigye was coming to her book launch that was happening on Sunday evening. And this is what Martha Karua said.
Besigye to my book launch on the 17th afternoon, that is Sunday. I had indication that he would arrive on Saturday and he would be available to attend and make a few remarks. He was no show. Sunday passed. Monday, we just thought, one can be unable to come for various reasons. Then on Monday, there was concerns about his whereabouts by family members. And yesterday evening, they confirmed that indeed he was missing and that he had gone for a meeting. He had booked at Waridi Paradise Hotel in Kilimani, had taken a taxi to Riverside Apartments. The apartment number is given in the statement we issued today. And he had gone into the meeting, leaving the taxi man at the basement of the building around 4:30. And the taxi person waited until 4 a.m. on Sunday. And when Besigye did not respond to the many text messages, that's when he left. So by yesterday evening, his family contacted me and said he's missing. And after discussions and inquiries, we suspected that he was abducted while at the Riverside Apartments by security agents from his home country, aided facilitated by Kenyan authorities. Remember, there is no way you can take an abductee either by air or by road without going through immigration. That's why I say confidently, aided and abetted by the Kenyan authorities. Today, we have reports that he was taken before a court-martial in Uganda. They had invited.
Yeah, so that was him. That was Martha Karua statement about the abduction, like what happened before or how Kizza Besigye was arrested in Nairobi. And she later said that currently we have two dictators in East Africa, and those dictators are Ruto and Museveni. So I guess you see, Ruto currently is putting Kenya in a very awkward situation with the how can I put it, the international the international family, or how can I put it, the international, like the people outside Kenya. Because right now, if someone, maybe for example from another country, wants to come and do investments and everything, like right now in terms of even apart from politics, there is an issue to do with the now the investing in Kenya. Like investors are walking out slowly out of Kenya, going to invest to other countries, and right now it's things to do with politics. If you differ, for example, you differ with the current government in your country, right? Let's say you're staying outside Kenya, like Nairobi is or Kenya is no longer safe for you. Yeah, like you come here and you will you'll be arrested easily, of which that's against the law that was put. And I think right now Ruto and Museveni both are they are on good terms. They are buddies. So if you are an enemy of Ruto here in Kenya, Uganda is no longer will not be safe for you. And if you are enemy to Ruto, to Museveni, Uganda will not be safe for you. But we saw things were different. I don't know, maybe he didn't think of arresting Bobby Wine, because Bobby Wine was in Kenya some time ago, where we went even for a campaign or an open, how can I put it, like a campaign, for example, with Babu Owino. So I don't know if that idea did cross his mind of arresting Bobby Wine since, but he attacked, you remember when Museveni was in Kenya during the launch of Raila Odinga's EU bid, Museveni went on and attacked Babu Owino, saying that those he's stubborn, he's what, like he attacked Babu Owino in front of Raila Odinga. So that means that Babu Owino is still on the on Museveni's radar. So right now, if Babu Owino tries crossing the border and go to, he can't go to Uganda and be safe there. So it's an interesting time. I think right now Ruto should learn that people will differ. He should not turn Kenya to Uganda, and that even can't happen. Like Museveni has stayed in power for over 30 years, and maybe is grooming Ruto to stay in power in Kenya. That's why we've been seeing recent abductions, like silencing of people that are speaking against Ruto's government, and that isn't a good thing. And I think with the current century, and then with the journey, the democratic journey that we've made as Kenya, that thing can't stand. And I don't think that it will happen. I think right now is on experimenting period. That's why he's coming up with a suggestion of extending power extension. You understand, using politicians like Cherargei to come up with such suggestion, of which that will be difficult, and I don't think that can be implemented in Kenya. So even Bobby Wine had something to say about the arrest. You can just listen in.
We condemn that. It is very, very shocking that Kenya, which used to be a safe haven for dissidents, is now increasingly becoming, an operational zone for the dictatorship in Uganda. We condemn that. We demand for the immediate release of Dr. Kizza Besigye, and I call upon all people of good conscience to condemn this and to demand for the immediate release of Dr. Kizza Besigye. And this should remind us, if that happens to a senior international person, a leader like Dr. Kizza Besigye, abducted on Saturday, all of Saturday nobody knows, all of Sunday nobody knows, all of Monday nobody knows. There's no statement whatsoever. But we think from his family that he has been brought to Uganda against international law, against all extradition laws. So we demand for the immediate release of Dr. Kizza Besigye, wherever you are. Dr. Kizza Besigye, we stand with you, we respect you, and we will fight for your freedom just like you've always fought for our freedom. I read.
So it's like it's an interesting time, because how can you say that he wants to overthrow the actually he wanted to, he's being accused of wanting to overthrow the army leadership, the Ugandan army leadership. So you ask yourself, is it really possible for one man to plot a coup against the leadership of the army, bearing in mind that those that are topping the Uganda army leadership are loyal to President Museveni, bearing in mind that the chief commander of the army right now is his son. So I guess sometimes these leaders, the presidents, don't have valid reason to arrest a person. They always just find something, funny excuses such as that. And being arraigned at an army court or a court martial, for according to the Constitution of Kenya, I think even the US Constitution, if a person makes is being accused of something, like a civilian should be taken to a civilian court. I guess maybe Ugandan Constitution is different because Museveni created it to be so, but we just pray that Ruto should not place Kenya in a very awkward situation with his neighbors, because right now hapo ni kama amevuka mpaka. I think he's trying to say that he has authority even he has an authority outside Kenya. Apart from being a president of Kenya, he can be a president of Uganda, can be a president of other nations. So yeah, it's very interesting.
The last statement that you have just reiterated, where Ruto thinks that he can be president outside Kenya, I really don't agree with that. But what I can actually say, as a result of the series of events that we've seen happening over and over and over, all I can come to a conclusion is that our president is making a series of bad decisions that is bad for the government, bad for the Kenyan image, bad for the diplomatic corps, bad for the common mwananchi, bad for the leadership, that everything is just bad from the get-go. Talk about matters economic empowerment, matters pesa mfukoni, matters ensuring that there is economic growth in terms of from bottom up. The bottom up economic program agenda that UDA had has not been implemented at all. That was just PR gimmick. So we can actually attest that he only loves lip service. The fact that he is alleged to have helped in the arrest and kidnapping of the Kizza Besigye, who is the opposition leader for Uganda. I think it's a very sad state of affairs. going back to his party, UDA. What does it mean? United Democratic Party. Isn't that an oxymoron? It is completely the irony. It is completely the opposite of what he is doing.
Yeah.
He is saying that this country is a democratic country. This country is a country of a rule of law. This country is a country that practices democracy and actually takes care of its own. But there is too much that is going on. There is femicide left, right, and center. People who are known to be opposing the government policies and who are known not to be Ruto's favorites are being intimidated left, right, and center. We've just talked about Rigathi Gachagua being intimidated. And now here again, we are hearing of President Ruto, who is alleged to be colluding. Like, there is no way that a sitting president, who is the commander-in-chief of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces in the Republic of Kenya, who has intelligence being given to him direct from the DCI, from the NIC, that he wouldn't have known that Kizza Besigye was coming in the country, and how he was hounded out systematically by the government agencies and the government officials. Like Martha Karua said, I completely agree with her. Museveni managed to convince his counterpart, President Ruto, to aid and abet in the kidnapping and the arrest of Kizza Besigye. I don't know what Ruto is actually thinking right now, and this even gets me to think about the fact that how he was hounded in the ICC court of having been involved in election violence. There could be some truth to that, I don't know. But seeing what we are actually seeing in the government and also on the newspapers, it has been purported that the economy of Kenya is actually skyrocketing, but it is not reflecting on the ground. People are still crying foul. People are still are still complaining about the cost of living. I think it is about high time that we cannot trust this civil society and state agencies to do everything for us. I think it's time for the people to arise and to hold this government accountable and to take the power back and let Ruto know that he cannot run this country the way he runs his home. He cannot run this country the way he wants, because there is a rule of law. He is the servant of the people. So I think that it's important that Kenyans should rise up and take the power back. And also something else that I think that is very important, we need to have a conversation whereby we take stock of what is happening in the political scenes, because this is not something that is starting with Ruto. Even during the times of Uhuru Kenyatta, there were people who disappeared, who were just obliterated by the state. Yes.
Before we proceed, can you say, maybe for example, those were maybe Ruto's doing during Uhuru Kenyatta's, let's say for example, maybe if we can say maybe it was his doing, because during that time, of course, there were those extrajudicial killings and arrests, and actually one of the Ruto's main argument during his campaign was like he will come and exchange that issue, like there will no longer be extrajudicial killings and these arrests that are not making sense.
I think that I can't comment on that and say that Ruto was part of it, because at the end of the day, the buck stops with the president. So I cannot actually quote the fact that Ruto was behind it. Maybe he was the brains behind what we are saying. But at the time, Uhuru Kenyatta was the president and he had the power to stop that kind of thing happening. So it was Uhuru's time, and it was up to him to ensure that those extrajudicial killings and prominent personalities disappearing or being obliterated come to a halt. And so actually about the political stalemate that we are having right now between the governors and the MPs, it's actually something that is really not good for the country, because service delivery in the county governments is at a halt. There's just so much that is happening in this country that is hampering the development, and people are not happy because they're not getting the services that they were promised by the sitting government. And now we're looking at what we are seeing with Kizza Besigye, who is actually from Uganda. He is not Kenyan, but you see him being hounded by the State Department, the state agencies, the Immigration Department, just as Martha Karua alluded to. This means that probably, or most probably, 60 to 70% that Ruto actually knew about this, and he gave it a go ahead, and he supported everything, and which is a very sad state of affairs. And I'm really so scared about where this country is going under such leadership. I think God needs to intervene. He needs to do something. And also, as Kenyans, we need to have conversations on the kind of leaders, because the number one problem that we are having as a country and the African continent at large, not only in Kenya, because we also see in Uganda, a person like Museveni has ruled over 30 years, and nobody can question him, nobody can go against him, nobody can criticize or scrutinize the way he's running the government. So the matter of leadership and governance is something that needs to be scrutinized, not only by the leaders, not only by the elite, not only by the people who are in the political class, but it should start from the grassroots. Civic education about how politics and governance affects us from the grassroots to the leadership in the national government, and the overhaul way on how we can bring in leadership that actually brings sanity, integrity, and development on the ground. That is something I think that we need to look at. That is the kind of conversation, because we keep on having the same old conversation about the same old things. I think we really need to change the conversation and look at the solution on how we need to overhaul this politics and the political process, and the thinking behind how our leaders need to be brought to account, and how they need to be like vetted, and even the process in which the common mwananchi is supposed to choose. I think the whole process, the whole political process needs to be overhauled. There has to be a new way. There has to be, I think, hope. We need hope more than anything.
Yeah, you can tell us what you think about Besigye arrest in Kenya. What I think as we conclude is that maybe Museveni has been Ruto's mentor, and Ruto is excitedly implementing Ruto's orders in Kenya. You never know. So if you can tell us what you think in the comment section of this video on YouTube, and kindly like this video for us to reach many people, and you can also follow us on Facebook Lightcast TV Kenya, TikTok Lightcast TV Kenya, and X Lightcast TV Kenya, Instagram Lightcast TV Kenya, and you can help us by sharing this video to reach many people, and see you on the next video.